I'm awfully confused. And I'll tell you that confusion doesn't really come to me that easily. I'm not usually confused by things, but I'm awfully confused by this one. Just a little less than a week ago, the Canadian government brought a Nazi into the Parliament House, into the House of Commons, and gave him a standing ovation. Now, the Liberal Party threw the Speaker of the House under the bus, but didn't quite get rid of him. He resigned as Speaker of the House, but he still sits as an MP in Parliament, which he should have resigned from. The Liberal Party didn't insist that he resign, so he didn't resign. He claims, the Speaker of the House claims, that he was the one who invited the Nazi to come and speak to be present in the House of Commons when Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, was giving an address. All right. So a Nazi comes into the House of Commons. The whole House gets up and they applaud him, everybody in the House, because he fought against the Russians during World War II. Nobody thought for a second that the Russians were allies with Canada during World War II, and the only people fighting against the Russians at the time were the Nazis. Nobody considered that, because history is not taught in schools anymore, so nobody would know that unless they learned history, and unfortunately, our governments have destroyed the school systems, and therefore history is not taught properly. So even our members of Parliament are not very well versed in history. And the Holocaust happened a long time ago. World War II happened a long time ago. So who's going to remember the details? Little details like the Nazis fought the Russians. Little details like a man who was a member of the Waffen-SS, which this man was, murdered Jews and Poles and everybody. It was just a mass murderer. Nobody considered that. But even more sickening than the Canadian government bringing a Nazi into Parliament and giving him a standing ovation, even more sickening than that is the apologists for the Liberal Party, the Jewish apologists for the Liberal Party. Now, had this been the Conservative Party that brought in a Nazi and gave him a standing ovation in Parliament, Jewish apologists for the Liberal Party would be screaming and yelling that the Prime Minister should resign. That would be the first thing coming out of the mouths of every single Jewish MP from the Liberal Party. Oh, Anthony Housefather would be outraged, and he would be screaming and yelling, resign. The Conservative Prime Minister should resign for this outrageous attack on the Jewish community. How could the Conservatives do this? He would be screaming. But he has been awfully silent in calling for the resignation of the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, or even leaving his job in the Liberal Party. He's refused to do that because he takes for granted that there are so many apologists in the Jewish community that are going to vote for him anyway because he's a liberal, that his seat is safe and he doesn't have to actually work for the seat. He doesn't actually have to pander to the community for the seat, that the seat is safe. And he's probably right. All week I've been arguing with different people that a vote for Housefather, as long as he's a liberal in the Mount Royal riding, where you have to vote for a young Jewish guy, he's been such a great MP, a vote for Housefather is a vote for Trudeau. And if you don't want to vote for Trudeau, you can't vote for Housefather. And all week long, when it wasn't holidays, I was told the answer was, we can't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Oh, Housefather's been a great MP. But the parliamentary system doesn't work that way. And in Canada, we have the parliamentary system. And we have to understand that in the parliamentary system, voting for a member of parliament, no matter how good or bad of an MP he was, and I'm not making any judgment calls on Anthony Housefather's dedication and hard work towards his constituents. He is a very hardworking MP. His dedication towards his constituents is amazing. And he's a very good MP. I'm not making any judgment towards the work that Mr. Housefather has done for his community and for his constituency. But as long as he's a member of the Liberal Party, why would any Jew vote for him? Because remember, a vote for in the parliamentary system, a vote for an MP is a vote for the Prime Minister. So as long as Trudeau's running the Liberals, why would any Jew vote for the Liberals? And I don't care how good of an MP he was. And if he had any guts, if he had any backbone, Anthony Housefather would walk away from the Liberal Party. But he has nowhere to go. He can't go to the NDP. The NDP is blatantly anti-Israel. And Housefather has been pro-Israel his entire career, so he can't run to the NDP. He can't run to the Conservatives. They're completely against everything that he stands for, so running to the Conservatives is going to be a problem for him. And without that, he can't go to the Bloc Québécois because they're separatists, and he doesn't support the separatist cause. So he has nowhere to go. So he's stuck as a Liberal MP, or he's stuck as an independent. Now, if he ran as an independent, there is a chance that he might win, although all the sheeps in the Jewish community would still vote for the Liberal Party. He had a chance, a small smidgen of a chance of winning. And if he did win, he probably wouldn't win a second election as an independent. So he's stuck in a hard place. He's stuck in the Liberal Party, a party that brought a Nazi, a literal Nazi, a member of the Waffen-SS, into the House of Commons to be applauded and to be lauded and to be celebrated by the Canadian government. There was an article in the Gazette, it ran in the National Post and it ran in the Gazette, not long ago, just a couple of days ago, where a lawyer, a CEO, a lawyer, made the case that as the CEO of the Liberal Party, Justin Trudeau should step down. I've been saying this for years. Justin Trudeau called, so did Anthony Housefather, by the way, called the truckers who protested against the government over COVID rules. He called them Nazis. And then he brutally took them down using the army in a fascist display of power. So we're not talking a nice government. We're not talking a government that's been good to this people. The Liberal government has not been good for the people, and Justin Trudeau has not been a good Prime Minister for Canada. Scandal after scandal, inflation. It's been terrible under Justin Trudeau. Yet there seems to be some kind of it's exactly like in the States, where the Jewish community always votes Democrat, even though Democrats have stood against everything Jewish since the dawn of time. Jews always vote for the Democrats. In Canada, Jews seem to always vote for the Liberals, and there's no rhyme or reason for it. It's just something they've always done. And the apologists, the people who want to forgive and forget, who want to forget that the Liberal Party were corrupt, to forget that the Prime Minister had a couple of scandals which showed the corruption of his office, we wanted to forget that that he crushed the truckers. He threw their livelihoods into jeopardy. He froze their bank accounts. He threw their kids into social services. He euthanized their pets. Truly fascist, because they stood up against him. A truly fascist move. People want to forget that too. It's amazing how short memories that people have. It's just fascinating to me as I watch people arguing that we must vote for Anthony Housefather. Why? Why would I vote for somebody who is representing what I consider evil? I'd hate to see the Jewish community get into serious trouble and see all these apologists, just shrugging it away and saying, "Hey, listen, so there's a little bit of Jew hatred. We have to live with that." I'd hate to see that. It disgusts me. Now, I think, personally, if you want my opinion, and this is a show that I give my opinion on, if you want my opinion, I think that Anthony Housefather should step down as a Liberal, should run as an independent if he can't find another party to join that he's ideologically aligned with, and as an independent should insist that the Prime Minister step down. If he had any integrity, that's what he would do. But nope, that's not what he's going to do. Although he was fired as a parliamentary secretary by the Prime Minister, he's going to stand behind him till death. And his staunch supporters, the stalwart members of the Jewish community, the people who are important, not like me. Nah, I'm a guy who's not important. The people who are important will stand behind him until death do them part. It's a sad, sad story. I'm Howie Silbiger. This is the Howie Silbiger Show. We will be back with regular full-length shows after Simchas Torah, so somewhere near the middle of October. I hope to see you then. Have a good one.